welcome to the 2020 Hope Conference. We are so glad that you're able to join us this weekend. You know, this year has been such a unique year in the COVID-19 world where we've had to adjust so many things. And the truth is that we all wish that we could be together physically. But while we're having to physically distance, we certainly are thankful that you've decided to join us to be socially together. This weekend is an important weekend. It gives us the opportunity to be able to learn from new educational opportunities, learn about new medications and therapies that are coming up. But it also gives us an opportunity to be able to connect with one another. You know, I often say that the greatest thing about being born with a bleeding disorder or a rare disease is the family that comes along with it. You know, each one of us have value that we bring to moments like this that are so important to our future that we can only acquire and achieve them if we stick together and we share each other's stories. So this weekend, I hope you take every opportunity to be able to look for other people that you may know online. Maybe you see someone in the chat or in the text boxes and you can take a minute to reach out to them and say, hey, I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad you joined us today, because this is really, truly an opportunity for us to still connect even though we can't physically be together. You know, this year has been so different, but I want to talk to you about next year. The truth is there's coming a time where we're all going to be able to gather back together, and we are preparing something amazing for our future to be able to get together. We've prepared a chair and a seat for each one of you to be able to come and be with us in the future. And we certainly hope that even in a grand auditorium like this, that we may not be here physically today, but this room will be filled with many people in the future, and we hope that you will plan to join us then. Today I want to talk to you a little bit about this weekend's conference. We have so many sessions of amazing speakers from all over the world that will be sharing their stories, sharing their new therapies, sharing some information about medical education, mental health, and even how you can grow in parenting and learning how to be skilled and growing even as a teenager or a child. We hope certainly that you take advantage of all of those sessions, but even if you can't and you can only participate in one or two, we believe that you will get something amazing out of it. And we thank you so much for spending your time with us this weekend as we really grow and learn together. The greater messaging that we hope that to achieve this weekend is to learn how to create momentum in our lives. The truth is that oftentimes many of us will find ourselves stuck at different parts and different seasons. And we hope that this conference this weekend will give you the opportunity to learn how to create some momentum in your life, how to get from a place of being stuck to a place where you can grow, develop, and increase your momentum as time goes on. The truth is that we need each other to do that, and I hope that you're able to grab onto someone else and to be able to grow together and mature together as you gain momentum into a beautiful future. Today I want to share with you a little bit about my personal story. You know, when I was a teenager, I formed a real hatred towards hemophilia. I had a lot of physical pain, and I had a lot of challenges where I lived in and out of the hospital at different times. But the truth was that I still formed in my teenage years a time of real distaste and real hatred towards hemophilia. I think it's something that's relatively normal for a teenage person to go through a season of rebellion in general. But for me, it was really about pinpointing the fact that I hated this disease that I had been born with and had fought so many battles for. The thing that I was fearful of was really a future that wasn't beautiful. It was one that I was afraid to find that I would be defined by my illness. Really, even when I started to dream about the future in a positive way, such as getting married, I really didn't think I was worthy because I couldn't win a physical altercation or defend my wife in a fight. Why in the world I defaulted to a physical altercation or a battle when I was thinking about romance as a teenager, I have no idea. But then again, a lot of my favorite shows were Karate Kid, and my favorite video games were Street Fighter. So I had a lot of roundhouse kick fantasies in my life at the time. But the truth was that I became stuck. I got stuck to the point where I really wish I wasn't here. I wish that I wasn't present. I wish that I was dead. I believe that I wanted to live in a place of peace and with a beautiful future, but I couldn't see it because I was living with so much emotional pain. I truly felt like I was alone. I felt like no one else understood me. I was alone in my head. I was alone in my circumstance. And I just didn't have anyone in my life that I could connect with that helped me to understand that a beautiful future was possible. I didn't have a utopia moment where I just snapped out of it. I needed surgery, and over time, I began to prepare for something when I was between the ages of 14 to 15, that this surgery, which really was an unpleasant event, really started to help me prepare for almost like a project. It gave me more time with my parents and more times with my siblings, and oftentimes they began to surround me and love me when I couldn't even love myself. I felt worthless, and I didn't see my own value, but they did. And it was their love that began to carry me even when I couldn't carry myself. See, I was their son. I was the child that they had prayed for. I was the child that they had hoped for. And even though I didn't see my value in myself, they did. The truth was that they saw me as a gift to them. They saw the treasures and the deposits that were well within me as a human, and they didn't care if it was me in a wheelchair, or it didn't bother them if they had to go to the store with me on crutches like it did me. I felt very uncomfortable in those days. I felt like I didn't belong in the world around me. And I felt like I was dealing with battles that no one around me could understand. But see, the truth is that they saw the value that was so much deeper inside of me that I couldn't see even for myself. The truth was that I felt like that if I ended it all, that I would be taking something away from them that would be too much for them to handle. See, love has a way of calling us out. See, love, it sees more than what you can just do, or it sees beyond even your education, your job, maybe sports that you love. Love looks past what you think you don't have, and it points out to what you do have. See, I believe that we are more than the sum of our parts. We are multiplied by the things that are around us that we find in love. We're multiplied by the relationships around us that we hold dear. The truth is that we're added and subtracted to by the things that we do, but it is the love from the community and the people around us that really inspire us to grow exponentially. See, I'm standing here today because of all the people who have seen value in me, even when I didn't. It was their love that has carried me, even when I didn't want to be carried. The amazing thing is that I think we all look to the steps along the way to think, whoa, well, it was simple. He got there because he was a financial advisor, and he did that because he had a career, and that opened up a door because he started this or did that. But the reality of the reason why I am here today as a human being still living in this moment is largely because my parents who fought for me, my dad who was an advocate of all advocates, my mom who was my nurse and my caregiver, my parents and my family surrounded me when I needed them most. And that love is what carried me. One thing that we're dealing with today that we have not seen to this magnitude before in the whole world is dealing with COVID-19 and the isolation that we felt. See, many of us living with hemophilia already feel like we're living with a rare disorder that keeps us in isolation. But you add COVID-19 and the need for social distancing and all of the parameters that we've had to deal with, and you find out that we're in a place where it's very difficult to connect with others and get that component of our lives healthy. And this has caused a lot of difficulty for a lot of people. It's called devastation for others. See, many people have felt like that they didn't want to keep going. They ask themselves questions like, why should I keep moving forward? Why look around at the world around me? I look at that and I say, why should I even be here? My answer to you, if you've had those thoughts, is I want to challenge you to look for love. I want to talk to you today about how to get unstuck. When we think about creating momentum in our lives, a lot of times it's because we're stuck in a place that we don't feel like we can move forward from. The law of physics teaches us that we simply have to put a significantly more amount of energy to get started than we do have to continue to grow and maintain that same inertia moving forward. And the truth is that it may take us all a lot of energy to get out of this rut that you're feeling, but once you get moving just even a little bit, the energy that it takes to sustain that growth and to keep you moving forward is far less than what took you to get out of that place. So today I want to talk a little bit about how to get unstuck from where you are. There's 5 things that really stick out to me when you think about this, and one is to never give up. The second is to give what you need away. The third is what you focus on, you will gravitate towards. The fourth is to learn to receive love. And I think the 5th way to get unstuck is to find purpose. I want to talk about each one of these, but Winston Churchill said in 1941, right in the middle of World War II, as it was at the peak of its battle, he spoke at a university that he graduated from, and he said these words in a message to the students who were graduating. He said, never give up, never give up, never give up. I think the first truth that it takes is a determination inside of us to determine that we're never going to stop, that we're never going to give up. And that often starts as a thought within ourselves to teach ourselves and to tell ourselves to never give up. See, the second thing that I believe is important in how to get unstuck is to give what you need away. Robert Kiyosaki, who is a great investor, said one time, whenever you feel short or you're in need of something, give what you want first, and it'll come back to you in buckets. Call it the law of attraction, call it sowing and reaping, call it whatever you want, but this is a truth in life that if you begin to give, there is a truth that those things begin to come back to you like a boomerang. And so if you have a need for love, I want to challenge you, start loving the people around you. And before you know it, you'll see that return to you in ways that you could not have even imagined. The third thing is that what you focus on, you will gravitate towards. The truth is that if you focus on a life that's filled with pain and misery, oftentimes you will find yourself going deeper and deeper into a mindset, into a life, and into a world that is dark and difficult. But if you focus on something else, like loving your friends and family, and finding other people to give and support and serve to, you will find yourself in a place where things around you, you will start to look and focus on and set your eyes and set your mind on things that will literally help you to move towards a more beautiful outcome. The truth is this, is that if you begin to look on someone else's pain, you'll realize that someone out there always has it worse off than you do. A lot of times as a child, and especially as a teenager, I would start to feel sorry for myself like all kids do. And I would be stuck because I felt like I didn't have a life without hemophilia. I felt stuck because I felt like I had this invisible disease that no one else could understand around me. I felt stuck because I didn't think that the people that even loved me or cared for me understood the kind of real serious pain I was dealing with and the war that was going on inside of my own body. But the truth was that my dad used to tell me, he said, "Son, if you ever start to feel sorry for yourself," he would say, "just go sit in any emergency room in town, and I guarantee you that in just a little while, you'll find somebody else who's worse off than you." That's true then, and it's still true today. If you choose to focus on the things that are hard and difficult, you're likely going to find yourself in more circumstances and situations that are hard and difficult. But if you choose to focus on the things that will be loving and serving others and helping the people around you and finding a beautiful life, guess what? You will find those things that inspire you and give you hope. The next thing I want to address is to learn to receive love. This is a hard one because, especially for those of us, if you're anything like me, you're a giver and you want to help others constantly. But what I have found is that receiving love in of itself can be its own hurdle. Just to be able to get to the place where you can allow someone else to love you can be hard and can be challenging, especially when you feel like that they don't fully understand. But if you can embrace it, life itself will start to love you back. You'll begin to see others begin to reach out in ways that you never thought was possible. And sometimes we feel like we aren't loved, but the reality is that we are. We're just not allowing it to penetrate our heart. I believe a truth about getting unstuck is learning how to receive love so that you can move forward. The next thing is to find purpose. And I know that sounds like a simple thing to say, but it's a very difficult thing to navigate. See, I think getting unstuck and moving forward in life is really about finding something to live for. It's about finding that new hobby, or maybe it's about finding that new friendship. Maybe it's about finding that new place to serve that opens your eyes to something that you never even knew existed. And the moment that you step into that new thing, you begin to feel like you are always home, like you are always meant to be just right there. And it's in those moments that your life can take a very drastic change for the better. Take this time during COVID to take some opportunities to try a new hobby, maybe to serve someone in a way you haven't before. And before you know it, you might just discover that there's something coming alive in you that you never even knew existed. And it's in those places that you can find passion like you never even knew you could have. Finding that passion is a key to getting unstuck and to creating positive momentum in your life. I've heard it said many times before that if you don't know what your passion is, if you follow the tears, the things in life that move you, that is often the connection to the things that you are passionate about, that you might not have ever even knew you were. When you watch a movie, when you read a book, when you read a story, when you find a newspaper clipping, when you see a friend in danger and you help to save them through a hardship, it's in those moments, if it moves you to tears, that's likely the very thing that you're the most passionate about. Take note of those things and start to live in those moments and look for new opportunities to stay with your passion, to grow your passion, and to see it develop in your life, because from that place is the only place that you would be fulfilled in life. You know, the truth is that these things are all elements to being able to help us get unstuck. But it really still comes down to keeping your eyes on the target of believing that life can be beautiful if you simply just focus on the right things. Just like anything else in life, it takes consistency. It takes hard work. It takes sacrifice. It takes times where you want to do something else, or maybe you just want to rest and you challenge yourself and you say, you know what? I'm going to work hard right now instead of resting. And it's in that you find a payoff that maybe others didn't. You know, the truth is that if you continue to live in a place where you believe that the future is dark, it's probably going to continue to be that way. But if you find yourself with enough hope to believe that your future can be beautiful, it might just unlock something in you that can help you move forward to a place that you never thought was possible. See, I believe that it is true to live a fulfilled life no matter what you faced, including all the hardship. And as a matter of fact, I would be willing to bet that the hardships that you've lived through yourself have given you tools to live an even more beautiful future because of them. But it's up to us to embrace, to leverage, and to move forward into them so that they can change our lives, and in ultimate sense that we can give that away and use it as an opportunity to serve others in our community so that we can live an abundance of life. I hope this weekend that you're able to be able to see something new, not just about a new product or a new service, but that you're able to see something about yourself. Maybe you're able to meet a new friend. Maybe you're able to meet somebody else that you've never met before. And one day when we have the opportunity to come back together as a group, as a team, as a community, that one day when you see those people in person again, it will be even more beautiful than it was before. Thank you so much for taking your time and sacrificing your energy to be a part of this event with us this weekend. We are so grateful that you're here with us. We don't think of this as just a moment in time. We think of this as a family that we're investing into. As I said before, we're not just looking at today as an empty room. We're looking at this as an opportunity to create a space for you to join us in the future. So we hope that not only are you able to feel fulfilled this weekend and get as much as you can out of it, to get the fuel that you need inside, to burn deeply so that you can move forward into next year and into a beautiful future, but we also believe that you're going to have all of this experience so that you can move forward into a beautiful life as a whole. We believe in you. We believe in the gifts and the talents and the treasures that have been deposited in your life that go far beyond a diagnosis. And for those reasons, we're grateful that you chose to spend your time with us, and we're grateful that we together can grow as a community. Thank you for participating and for being a part of Hope Conference 2020. And we hope that you have a fantastic weekend.